Welcome to the Chain Out Podcast with your hosts, Jeremy and Daryl.
Hey everybody, welcome to Season 3, Episode 132 of the Chain Out Podcast with your favorite hosts. That's right, no longer co-hosts. We promoted ourselves, Daryl and Jeremy. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I do want to let our listeners know that if they're not watching, if they're just listening to us, they should probably check out our relationship status on Facebook. If they go to Chain Out and then they go to Jeremy Daryl as the person, you'll know that we've marked it as our relationship status is complicated. And hence Daryl is at the home studio and I'm coming to you live from Mississippi, baby.
I thought you were going to say that I'm in the house and you're in the doghouse.
Yeah,
do we have a falling out or something?
It depends on I was going to say it depends on the day, but it probably depends on the hour sometimes, doesn't it?
Just as long as we're not driving together, I think we're okay.
Oh, dude, I was doing some driving today and I was feeling that same pain again, but it was good. Hey, when I left Canada, it had been raining for 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
It was Sunday. I came up from Calgary. I was down there for the weekend. Rain, wind, cold. Has it finally stopped, or are you still swimming over there?
It has stopped. Not for very long, but I think it stopped for a little while. It started again, then it stopped, and I think we've had about... I think it stopped overnight, so I think we have pretty much the 12, maybe 14 hours of dry, dry weather at the moment, but I looking at the forecast, it's meant to start again, and I'm not sure if it was I was reading the weather predictions and it said 2 to 4 millimeters, 5 to 10 millimeters, and then I think on Saturday it said 50 to 75 millimeters, and I was saying to my son, I'm like, did they just make a typo there? So I think we got more rain to come.
Yeah, they should start probably using. That's when you go back to imperial and use inches. I think millimeters aren't cutting it at that point.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm looking here. Being away, which happens every 6 to 8 weeks these days, it seems.
Yeah.
But I'm looking. It looks like the chat is. What is it again? Bumping in here.
In Shaw. Yeah, it is. Dina's in the chat. Hi, Dina. Sonia's in the chat talking about her new cart. She finally pulled the trigger and joined the cart club. Mark is in the chat as well. Dylan is in the chat. Mike's in the chat. All the usuals. All the usual people are in the chat having a good old discussion. We love to see it.
Yeah. Well, I'm seeing there that Dylan's complaining that his back hurts. I don't know. I didn't see the rest of it in there. Do you think he's still complaining after playing with us last week?
I think they were talking something about... not Hidden Gem. What's the other one? The one at Drayton Valley.
Night Owl.
Night Owl, I think. Or I seen Mark talking about Night Owl, so I'm not too sure what they're all talking about. But yeah. Well, we also got the chance to get out and play some disc golf before it started raining. We
certainly did.
Yeah, we got invited to go and play around at Bailey's Crossing, Sea Change, whatever the name of that
park.
Disc golf park. Yeah. We got invited out by...
Wait. Sponsored by Flatboy Burgers? Is that in there too or something?
I'm sure there's in there somewhere. Yeah. 8 stations by Shitties. Yeah. It's all in there. We got invited to go out and play around the disc golf with 2 people, and they know each other quite well. The person who's in charge and makes our website look so good, Dylan, and all we have to call him is the nicest man in disc golf. You know who we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Dylan says...
That'd be Mr. Alex Penny, right?
Yeah, what a round it was. Yeah, absolutely. We went out there. We decided, you know what? Let's mix it up a little bit. Let's play doubles. So we played doubles, and I was wondering whether I was going to have to be on your team. Or whether you were going to...
How bad we'd get defeated if it was just you and me.
Or whether you had to put up with me. But no, we decided to split up Chain Out. Mm-hmm. How did we decide it? I think we random flipped discs, right?
I think what it was you were the one person who had never really played around with Alex. So we decided that you and Alex should pair.
And then, yes, we flipped to see who was going to go first. So, yeah, no, I got to play with Alex, which I was really happy about. And Dylan was partnered up with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we were both thinking the same thing. You know, okay, we've got Dylan, who is a great player. He loves playing Baileys. We've seen him out there before. We know Alex is a great player as well. We were wondering, if we're playing doubles, how much are we actually going to contribute to the teams here?
That was it.
We might
I
be able to
wasn't
take a putt.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It was maybe like they'd give us the courtesy to allow us to tap it in first and go, look, you contributed.
There you go. Yeah. But no, we actually surprised ourselves, or at least I surprised myself. I don't know about you, but we actually, there was quite a few shots where our drives were the best and our up shots, and we made the putts when it counted. And yeah, I thought I would say we held our own.
Yeah, I think so. I think we did. I think we also gave our partners a good chance to try some new things and throw some long bombs because we were able to put a few safe shots out there for them. And
Hmm.
then the green light was on and they could try something new.
Yeah. One thing I was impressed with, like having not played with Alex before. Obviously, I know he was representing Team Elevation, so I was expecting to see some of those discs, but I didn't. But man, he loves that Dillo. For people that
He
don't know the Lone Star Discs armadillo, I don't, wasn't sure if it was a super Dillo. Tim did ask us whether it was a super Dillo, um, but yeah, he can throw that. That's his wooded disc. He was saying he can get it on a hyzer flip up, drift to the right. He can make that thing talk basically.
Yeah, and he can throw a bomb as well. Some of his
Yeah,
discs where you're like, oh, those should be coming down. They're only, well, as Dylan would say, oh, that was just a mid or that was just a fairway, but yet they went.
yeah. Well, we went out there. We played the whites. A bit more experience playing from the whites, thinking that we normally play from the whites, but actually it's the reds that we normally play for. So we had a chance to get out there and play the whites again, which was good. Alex Penny, obviously one of the reasons why he was up and wanted to play that course was he was doing some prep work for the Edmonton Open, which he'll be up and playing soon. And then we had some good holes. It came right down to the wire. It was, as Dylan has put it in the chat here, I mean, I'm not bigging myself up, but there were the clutch park on 17, only one to
Hmm.
land the island. Didn't realize it because I don't check scores. After we teed off on 18, we both went out of bounds into the hazard.
With all four shots,
All four
right?
shots. You laid up under the basket, or you made it under the basket, I think.
Hmm.
We were long of the basket. We were in the hazard, so we both had a putt. We both missed our putts. I think we both hit chain or a cage, and I didn't know it at the time. But if we'd made that putt, we would have tied the round up. As it turned out, we both tapped in our pars, and you guys ended up taking down the victory by one shot.
That's it. We did, and that actually, I looked, Daryl, and
Hmm.
in our battle between you and I on
Right.
UDisc, it counts as a win. So
What? So what is the? I haven't looked in a while. I do remember there was a time where we were tied.
I think we're
Um,
back to tied again somehow. I
are
don't
we
know how,
really?
but I think we're tied. I'd have to look, but
Have you been putting me down for like activity rounds and like beating me or something?
beaten exactly.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
congratulations to you and Dylan.
yeah. Well, it was great. It was just a great night out, and I'd do it again in a minute.
Oh yeah, we always like playing Baileys. Well, last week we spoke to Luke Richard and Rick Robichaud. They were the two TDs and two members of the Dieppe Open team. Now, the third Canadian A-tier of the year and host of the 2027 Canadian National Tournament took place last weekend. We invited the MPO winner, Thomas Gilbert, and the FPO winner, Colleen McInnes, onto the podcast, and they will join us to tell us all about the event and their back-to-back wins. Hang around, they'll be here in about 15 minutes.
Yeah. Great time to put in there to thank PDGA Canada for their support. They are helping out the podcast this year, bringing it to your eyes and your ears. So if you don't have your PDGA membership, make sure to look into that.
Mm-hmm.
Since we're focusing on the Dieppe Open, Daryl, I had it in here that we weren't going to do a tournament recap, and we won't do a
Right.
recap. We're already
Sure.
going to do one. But can you give me that awesome news thing that you do?
like the ticker,
The
you mean?
breaking news, yeah.
Breaking news
The-
that something like that.
that is the one. I did get a message here from recent guest Chris Brownie from Brownie Mania in
Hmm.
Lithuania. I think you told me.
Yeah.
Well, he was saying that he did want us to shout out that Bronte and the Beast is coming up right away. So Tobin, Ken, Michelin I've got here, and Chris Brown will be running it. It's a 2-day B tier shotgun start, and it is MA1 or higher are the divs that are in this one. So it's a more of an elite event, I guess. The
Mm.
big throwers. There's a midweek Masters tournament that's happening tomorrow if you're listening live, and that's Bronte Legends, and it's part of the a midweek series that's for 60 and higher, and it's from a Masters traveling league that goes around near them.
What's
So
it called?
lots happening in the in the Burlington area. The Bronte Legends, and it was a 60 and higher. I think. I don't think
Oh,
it's a
okay.
60 and higher. I think it's in higher.
Right.
But thanks, Chris, for bringing that to our attention. But last week was a busy week in Canada. When you look on disc golf scene, it's not just tournaments. There's lots happening. There were 18 events going on in Canada. There were 5 C tier tournaments, an XC tier tournament, and 3 B tiers happening. But the events that were actually going on, there was a disc swap, a memorial tournament, a queer disc golf event, the first one I think, or one of the first ones I saw this year.
Nice.
There was a clinic happening. There were birdie bashes, a trilogy 3-disc event, and another glitch world qualifier. That one's always a
Right.
hard one to say. I kind of glitch when I try to say it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those were all going on over the weekend. Lots happening. If you do want us to recap an event you hosted or that you attended, or just like Chris that you've got coming up, jump in and email us at chainoutpodcast@gmail.com or message us on Instagram or Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, on our website this year, we've upped the ante for our Chain Out Fantasy League. We have some amazing prizes. I just want to highlight a few right here. We'll give these away to our winners. We have a popcorn. Have you ever thrown a popcorn, a clash putter, Jeremy?
I eat so much popcorn that I should have that disc in my bag, but I
You
have
should.
not thrown one.
Yeah, this was donated by Edgar and come way of Happy with Par. Also, we mentioned it last week. We showed one stamp, but we have another Chain Out mini stamp here with just the logo. And again, why don't we highlight Edgar a little bit more? Another prize that you can win is this lovely Edgar stamp toque. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. Why don't that? Those are the prizes for some of the prizes for the winners. But also, don't feel left out if you didn't start from the beginning. If you enter and put a team in for any week, you'll be entered into a draw prize. At the moment, we have this Noah Higgins signed disc as one of the prizes. I'm sure we'll be adding more throughout the season. Head over to chainoutpodcast.com to sign up for free. Pick your own team. Pick 3 MPOs, 3 FPOs. For each A tier or higher, and the higher your team finishes, the more points you'll get. Do you want to take a quick look at the standings?
Yeah, well, I think if I remember right, after the first 2 A tiers, there was Soaring Bird DG was up there.
Yeah.
I remember Dina, I think, was sitting in 3rd, if I remember right. This is all from memory.
Do you want to
Look
have
how
a look
good I'm
what it
doing.
is right now instead of
Yeah. Give us
reliving
the
what it
give us
was?
the real thing.
There you go. So Soaring Bird DG is still in first place, and Dina is still in second. Charlie Chucks is in third. Oh, pretty close. 2 points separating second and third. 10 points just to Mark Thompson in fourth. And then you have to keep looking down and you have to keep looking down. And then you finally find Chain Out Jeremy and Daryl down at the bottom in 8th and 9th out of 10 at the moment. I think you had me by 2 points last week.
I did.
Now
And
I have.
cannot read that. What's it look like?
Can you not see this?
I can see it. I just can't read.
Oh, okay. Well, Chain Out Daryl is in 8th place with 1,254 points. And Chain Out Jeremy's in 9th place with 1,184. So I've got about a 65 point lead on you from a 2 point deficit last week. Back to
So it's heating up. Well,
Yeah.
congrats to Dina, because I think that's actually a jump up. I think Dina in second. I think she was 3rd last time we checked.
Okay.
So that's a good switch.
There you go.
The Pro Tour had the week off last week, Daryl. Well, as we're talking about big tournaments and such, but we did have some Canadian. Yeah.
Just because you can't see, I'm just going to let you know that we do have a guest in the chat in the green room. So just go,
okay.
and then we'll get right to it.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll hop over to the guests. We don't want to keep them waiting too long.
Yeah,
I'll go through the quick pro tour there. They might
sounds
be
good.
interested while they're sitting there warming up in the green room.
Right.
Yeah. Well, the Pro Tour had a week off last week, but we did have some Canadians head down to the Cascade Challenge in Washington that was happening. And we want to say congratulations to Quinn Lawler, who sports the Canadian flag on his PDGA, but currently shows that he's residing in Bellingham, Washington. He was our highest Canadian MPO, and he finished tied 33rd with Ryan Mon. So
Yeah.
not bad company there.
Right.
And then we also want to say congrats to Sheila Tevis from Vancouver, BC, finishing tied 28th with 3 other players. She was our highest Canadian FPO.
Nice.
And I don't know if you saw, Daryl, I was following, we always tell everyone follow Facebook, follow Instagram. I saw that previous guest of the show, Judah Hawks, was down there. He was playing. We mentioned him. And he had a little entourage of friends watching and following him around the course in his posts.
Yeah.
And he even got a chance to meet Gannon Burr. And he was able to give him one of Judah's signature discs.
Right.
And when I watched that video, if you saw it, like Gannon, the way he flips through discs, it's insane. Like he just touches them and he knows, nope, not good, nope, good. Like he's just so quick. And then he did find one he liked, and then he grabbed one. He's like, oh, this is an FD. I don't throw FDs. He just moves it to the side.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was good. And then I didn't mention it last week when we chatted about this event, but we had another Canadian down there, and I didn't recognize she was Canadian. We know her very well, but she sports the English flag on her PDGA. And then she says she's from Mazatlan, Mexico, but she lives in the Vancouver, BC area, and that's Daisy Kelly. And she's been an FA1 player, one of the nicest person, puts out a lot of good content, but she jumped up to FPO for this one. So yeah, wrapping that up. Next up is the Northwest Championship presented by Lat 64. It's another DGPT Plus event, so it's a 4-round event. And then we've got Kieran Atkinson from Vancouver, BC will be representing as our MPO Canadian. And then, of course, Sophia Donica and Rebecca Don are back in the fray down there. Rebecca's already putting out practice videos, same with Sophia. So be sure to follow them, cheer them on, send them messages. It's always a good thing.
Yeah. We have a quick question from the chat. Hey guys, long-time listener, first-time caller. This person seems to be a very frequent first-time caller. Just wanted to know what your favorite Edmonton area hole is. Hole 12 at Randall, hole 10 at Hermitage, hole 18 at Bailey's.
Now, are those the only choices we get?
They were all question marks, so make your own choice.
If let's just choose from those 3 for now. We could dive into this question. I'd really like to dig into it in ATB. But I would say hole 18 at Bailey's out of those 3. That's my fave.
Yeah, I would as well.
Yeah, I like the high to low, just like 12 is. But I also
it's a great finishing hole.
In the challenge of trying to keep it out of the hazard. I think that's everybody can get to the basket, or a lot of people can. It's how do you stay out of the hazard?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Great question there, long-time listener, first time again.
He said any hole, but we will. Yeah, that definitely deserves a longer chat.
Well, I think what we should do, Daryl, is let's just hang it out there. We have a giveaway that we're going to do, but we'll do it after, maybe in between interviews. What do you think?
Yeah, okay, we can do it in between.
Yeah, let's get to our guest, and we'll jump back up to here and finish that off. So, just so everyone knows, we will be giving away something tonight. So stay tuned for after this first interview.
It's right over there. Can't quite see it. It's right there.
Well, our first guest is no stranger to the Chain Out podcast, as he has been on more times than any other guest we've had on, even you, Tim, first-time listener there, over the past 3 years. He represents Canada on the world stage. He is a disc golf counselor at the Smith Lake Farm Disc Golf Camp. He has the best huck face and just won the Dieppe Open. Join us in welcoming Thomas Gilbert back to the podcast.
Hey guys, thanks for having me back.
Yeah, of course, Thomas, you're always welcome back on the podcast. It's so great to have you here.
I love your beard, Daryl. I don't know if Thomas is seeing what I'm seeing, but it's looking real good.
Okay, you take the next question, Jeremy, and I'll fix this.
Yeah.
Well, Thomas, we know it was pretty tight for you. You just had gotten back from Ontario. How was the trip back?
It was great, yeah.
I mean, not from Ontario, too.
Left Moncton around noon this morning, and then was able to catch a flight, made a doctor's appointment, and then got back home.
Okay, yeah. And so you had a chance to be out there for a little bit longer? Were you out just traveling around playing other courses, or what were you doing out in the area?
Yeah, so on Monday, me and a whole bunch of Ontario guys from Bronte Creek, Chris Oslands, Chris Brown, Colleen,
Yeah.
we all went out to the island, PEI Island, and
Okay.
played Hillcrest Farms, got some hand pies, just having a fun day of doubles. And so that was really nice to be able to just go out and enjoy PEI for a day. The weather was the best it was all week. Of course, the day after the tournament, but man, yeah, nice to always reminisce and play a fun round over at Hillcrest.
Yeah. Well, and I would think, was the last time you'd been out there, did you head out for when Nationals was there? Was that your probably last time to PEI?
That was my last round at Hillcrest,
Hmm.
but I had played the Discmania Open in 2023, which was
Okay.
in PEI, but just only at Rose Valley.
Right, right. Okay, cool.
Hmm.
Well, congrats on the win at the Dieppe Open, and it makes it 2 years in a row, as we were mentioning at Dieppe. And how does this one feel compared to last year? Did you notice any differences?
Yeah, they actually made a couple really good changes to the course. They kind of tightened up some holes and they added in a brand new hole 13, which I think played really solid. They turned one of the par fours that I was Heiserbomb eagling last year, and they made it so that is now the landing zone, and then you have to chip onto this island green. So
Yeah.
definitely a good change there as well. A couple other tweaks that they made, they had it in the works, but it wasn't quite fully completed. So they took the year to really refine it. On hole 15, there's like a dog leg right, par four, and that played, I think, as the hardest hole in the course, which it was definitely like that point in the round where, okay, you need to make sure you're getting your par. Otherwise, you can be bleeding strokes or have these big stroke swings between competitors. So that hole was always kind of looming near the end. And also 18, they changed from a pretty straightforward par three into a island fairway, and like so the fairway and basket were on this island, so you're teeing off and needed to cross about probably at least 280 feet of OB to make it
Mm.
onto this island, and it was through this maybe like 20-foot or 25-foot gap in the trees. So if you miss the gap in the trees, you're probably falling OB, and you have to go to the short tee, the red tee, as a drop zone. And so that definitely was a stroke swing as well. So they definitely made the last couple holes pretty exciting for us.
Yeah, that sounds like it for sure. And when you talk about that dog leg right, that one that was there, is it pretty much a sharp right angle, or is there a way
Yeah, so
to
it
kind
you
of
got
get
to
around
throw
it?
like a 400-foot dead straight shot off the tee. That's got to settle, because if you go even 30 feet too far, you're completely cut off the angle, and it's maybe like a again 25-foot gap about
Oh,
180 feet away off the tee. And so like it's tough to get it through that gap and keep it dead straight the entire way. It's a little too low ceiling to be able to throw a mid, and a little touchy for like a fairway driver. I was trying to do a little like flip up forehand just because the dog leg turned to the right at the end. So I was
mhm.
thinking I could hit the gap the easiest with the forehand and maybe try to get into the actual gap itself. But it played hard. I think I went par, double bogey, bogey on the weekend.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, well we did see the one double, and I that now you've answered that question of where it was. But yeah, why don't
Yeah.
we hop over to the tournament a bit? And I would say, as one of the best, if not the best player in Canada, I don't know how humble you want to be there, you tend to be in the lead for most of the events that you play in. But somehow Chris O'Zolins there had found a way to gain a stroke on you in that first round, and you were right there. You're one stroke behind in second, and you
Hmm.
had that clean round, just the double bogey. Was it nice having some competition and knowing that you were going to have a battle for this tournament? Did you like that?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I always appreciate a good battle. It makes the win feel way better if you can battle it out and come out on top. Like there's more kind of like resistance to come ahead of, I guess. So it feels extra good to be able to pull out a win when it's a tight battle like that, and especially the final day. I let my lead slip away really fast and had to kind of battle back to be able to secure the win in the second half of the round.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I just wanted to ask you, when you were mentioning about the course there and all the hazards in OB, and they, for one of a better phrase, trying to Thomas proof the course. One of the things that we've said to you about you, and you've kind of admitted it yourself, is that you have these long drives and you're one of the longest throwers. But
Yeah.
the downside of that is that you do find OB a little bit more than what you would like.
Yeah.
And you mentioned about the bogey and double bogey on those holes. Is that something that are you kind of dialing that in still? Are you still,
Yeah, I think so. I think it's part of like my ceiling makes me want to try out all these types of shots, and that sometimes gets me into more trouble
Mhm.
than it's worth. So I kind of have to find the balance of that. And as well, like I'm in a good position, at least here in the Canadian competitions, where I can usually still get away with like one or two of those mistakes around and have enough of them pay off for me that I can still
Right.
maintain a couple stroke lead. But it's really on tour where it like extremely penalizes me because while I'm trying to bite off a little bit more to make the birdies easier, if I get one or two bogeys or double bogeys, then you go straight from being in the cash to like
Yeah.
way out. So and it happens like that. There's so many good players that are so precise on the course that you make one or two of those mistakes and it really comes to bite you. So I do actually like the leniency that the level of competition in Canada kind of gives me to have a little more free reign of my game.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Well, you mentioned there about taking the driver's seat back in round two. You were right back in that driver's seat with a minus 11 and 8 birdies. That was a 1048 rated round. And I don't know if you know this, but that was your second highest rated round of the year so far.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. Um, Seeing as you lit it up on that second round, like what changed?
Um, Honestly, not very much. I don't really know what happened from round 1 to 2 to 3. It kind of just seemed like the birdies flowed a lot easier in round 2. I know that me and Oz were also like kind of in this flow state for almost at least a third of the round where we were going birdie for birdie from
Right.
like I think it was like maybe hole 8 until hole 14 or so. We were just going shot for shot, birdie for birdie, putt for putt, and it was like fun to really kind of get in that flow state and just kind of battling out. I was just trying to maintain my first on the tee pad spot, and it made it a little bit like more focused to be able to do that. And I think we both kind of got wrapped up a little bit too much in trying to maintain our lead or not mess up and give up a lead,
Mm-hmm.
that we really didn't get to push to our like top potential like we could have and like we did in round 2.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
we
I
were kind
guess.
of more managing each other's mistakes than trying to play to our full potential.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that. I'm just trying to imagine being in that position, and which would be more pressure of
Mm-hmm.
trying to maintain your lead or trying not to lose the lead.
Right. Yeah. It's a little bit of both because like if you're back a stroke or two, you feel like you need to birdie to be able to push, so you're being a little more aggressive, a little more risky in your shot shapes and your shot choices. And I think when you have a lead and you're trying to protect it, like you sometimes can play like smarter, but then also you're always in the back of your mind. It's like, okay, if I play too safe, or if I don't hit this gap or whatever, I don't make this putt, then I just give them that 1 inch closer to me, and
Yeah.
you're always concerned about that. So, like, yeah, every time like one of us makes a putter, one of us hits the fairway or line, like we are kind of playing this little chess match of, okay, that's got this probability of giving me a stroke, or I'm in this position, he's in this position. Okay, he can hit the 45 footer for birdie, but I'm 25 feet, so
Mm-hmm.
maybe I'll get a stroke on this one, maybe not.
Yeah.
And yeah, it definitely changes the mindset of the round. And yeah, I feel like sometimes it can sharpen you and you'll play better, and sometimes it'll kind of freeze you in this state of trying to just maintain what you got.
Yeah. I guess the advantage of throwing big distance off the tee is that second shot, you're always kind of, you've got, at least you got one step up there because you're waiting to see what the
Yes.
other player throws. But
Yeah,
um,
on the open holes. But I mean, on the wooded fairways, the tight wooded shots, like it's anyone's game. It's more just who gets the further progression before they might hit one of the fairway trees. Like there's a
right,
lot of holes out there where it's a coin toss who will actually get the better drive on the hole.
right, yeah, no, that makes sense.
Hmm.
Well, if we move it along a little bit to round three, you ended up closing out the tournament with 6 birdies at -2, finishing with a total of -11 for the event. But it looks like,
Yep.
as you mentioned there, Chris kept you going right until the very end. Um,
Hmm.
did you, when you mentioned there about having the lead and not losing the lead and the pressure of going back and forth? Um,
Hmm.
when did you know that you had the win? I can't remember if we've spoken to you about this before, whether you check
Yeah.
scorecards or when you check scorecards, or when did you know that it was in the bag for you?
I felt pretty confident when I birdied hole 14. It was actually
Mhm.
really interesting because that hole is probably one of my biggest advantages on the course. I'm able to throw this pretty crazy over the top shot that requires like 500 feet of power, and I can cut the corner and basically get almost where a lot of people's second drives are. And and I know that gave me an advantage, but actually the final day I hit the tree I was trying to go over
Right.
and fell short to where like a bad tee shot normally lands. And I did this little forehand chip around the corner and then to where, because it kind of goes maybe like 250 feet and then dog legs left and goes down maybe 550 feet or so.
Wow.
So I barely chipped around the corner, maybe 25 feet, and then threw a shot. And actually, my caddy, Matt Cook, filmed it beautifully. I hit this like maybe 15-foot gap and laced a dead straight shot about 500 feet down the fairway and skipped 15 feet away from the basket.
Wow.
And in that moment, I was like, okay, yeah, this is my tournament now. Like
Nice.
that was a statement shot, and it, yeah, absolutely paid off. And I felt in control there, and I know Oz felt it too because on the next hole, I had chipped up for my to try to just play for par, and he had gotten a little bit farther down the fairway, and he tried this over the top forehand shot because he knew that he needed the likely birdie to kind of gain any strokes on me,
Hmm.
and it went kind of deep into the woods, and he ended up taking a double bogey, and I managed to grab another stroke on him there. So that was kind of like the nail in the coffin, I think. Although I did
Hmm.
try to mess up a little bit on hole 18 and actually got a fortunate break to stay in bounds through the gap and then chipped up for my birdie.
Wow.
Nice.
Just a
Yeah, that's
500-foot
awesome.
straight shot, Jeremy. That's all we need to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, that sounds awesome. I could see too how that would be. Obviously, not throwing that myself, but yeah, having a swing like that, it, as you said, puts the nail in the coffin. Because Oz goes, "Oh, okay, this is the Thomas who's come out today. All right, I'll
Yeah.
I got to do something
If
magic
only I
and
could
keep
have
it
done
going."
that from the start, then it would have been one of those rounds where I could have just, yeah, flowed and
Yeah.
had one of those like stress free walk it in type rounds. But I didn't turn that on until the back nine.
There you go. Well, last year too, you kind of mentioned it that you said the best weather was just here at the end of the trip. Last year it
Hmm.
was really tough. I remember seeing the rain coming down and everyone hiding in the
Yeah. Yeah.
tents before teeing off. So it was better this year, or tell us a bit of how it was weather-wise.
Yeah. Well, it was funny because I ended up flying in on Thursday morning. So I left Thursday morning from Toronto and then landed at like 1 in the afternoon in Dieppe, and it actually was maybe 4 degrees, pouring rain, and windy. And I was like, oh no, it's happening again. And I was like, oh, this is gonna be terrible. And because it also hadn't really called for rain. It was kind of like very unexpected downpour of just rain, wind, and cold weather. And I played a practice round with the family, or the son, Jaden, of the family I was staying with. And yeah, I was like, oh, this is going to be bad. Like my lower back felt like tweaked because of like, I think the plane ride and then playing in cold, tense conditions. And I was like, uh-oh. And then it was calling for rain the first 2 days of the event as well. But we actually got extremely lucky. It was only cold and windy. and and so the whole tournament days actually had no rain for us whatsoever. But it was pretty bad. Like first day we had 30 to 50 km/h winds, and then same second day it was more like 30 to 45, and then final day was a little calmer. It was like maybe 15 to 35.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think the only thing we've got to keep our fingers crossed is at least with nationals next year. Luke was saying that
September.
they're planning to do September, so maybe we get a
Yeah.
better chance of good weather then.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. No, the only thing you have to watch out for, and I say this completely jokingly, because it would be absolutely terrible if it happened, but it's the start of the hurricane season, and I know that
Oh,
that area has experienced that before at another nationals out
Mm,
in PEI.
right.
yeah. Hopefully, Dieppe's a little bit more protected than the island in that case.
Yes.
But yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, cool. Well, Thomas, I did want to talk to you about some of the players you got to play with because one of the things on the podcast is we really love covering everyone
Hmm.
coast to coast. We know the people out west really well, but not always as many out east. So Oz went out. We talked about that, but you also got to play with Cedric Gilbert or
Yep.
Cedric Gilbert, if that's the case, Charles
Yeah.
Blanchette, Pierre Landry, Oliver Murphy, Anthony Richard. And thinking about
Hmm.
that, so Anthony being Luke's son, and he's been
Yeah.
making some waves out there and you can see it in the standings. What did you think of his play? How's he improving over the years?
Oh man, I think he's just such a natural talent. Like if he and I mean this all as a giant compliment. If he put as much time to disc golf as I have, he would easily be as good as me. He's got all the shots, all the touch, all the power that he ever needs to be. Honestly, like a 10, 20, 10, 30 rated player. But again, like I've kind of experienced, there other things kind of become a priority in life, and he
Hmm.
just actually graduated from, I think, mechanical engineering, if I got that right. So big congrats to him as well for finishing up his program there. And
Yeah.
I know he's playing disc golf maybe like 5 or 6 times a month right now.
Right.
So he still likes it, still enjoys it, but doesn't quite get the hours that he probably would want to or need to be able to really take that big step up. But he's got so much potential and skill in the game, and I mean Oliver as well from PEI. He's
Hmm.
another fantastic player, young kid, and actually that reminds me. I know I have to message him because I have some old prodigy that
Oh,
he was tossing. He's like, oh, can't find these runs. I was like, I think I might have like a box of that sitting collecting dust in the basement. So
Awesome.
yeah, I'm gonna try to help him out and hook him up with some discs that he's looking for, and then as well just Pierre and Cedric and
and Charles
Charles.
as
Yeah,
well.
Hmm.
Yeah.
yeah. They're all really great players. I play with them a handful of times throughout the years, and they have really good talent out there on from the east coast of Canada.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And now,
Hmm.
okay, I'm going to qualify this as well, Thomas, before I say this question. I'm going to say you are still a young man yourself. But
Yeah.
when you were playing with Anthony and Oliver, were you feeling like you're getting a little closer to Chris than you are to the young guns these days? Or
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I'm fortunate that I still feel very young, very youthful in my I don't know, my demeanor in play and all that. I still kind of feel like one of the young guns out there, and luckily, I feel like there's still a decent gap between me and them, and but I know that like they have the time the drive to put in what's necessary to catch up. So yeah, I absolutely see them as the young kids in the rearview mirror that are kind of revving their engines to catch up to me and really compete for that top spot in Canada.
Yeah. No, and
Yeah.
that's good. And like we had Oliver on the show and we chatted with him in one of our juniors episode. And it seems like all of these kids who are into disc golf, they all have their head on their shoulders. They're good kids. I'm sure it's no different with Anthony as well. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
Well, we spoke to Luke and Rick last week, and just like any other great tournament, there's always a lot more to do than just a disc golf. And we spoke to them about all the extracurricular activities that they were going to be putting on
yeah.
over the weekend. Did you have a chance to partake in any of the extra events?
Yeah, I was able to be there the entire night of the players' party on Saturday. So they did the women's clinic, the CTP challenge, and I did not partake in the glowy event on Friday night just because it was a long day. I had just finished up my round, so I think they kind of actually already started by the
Right.
time that I was finishing up my round, and so I just kind of had a quiet night that night, and but then was there pretty much the entire time Thursday night and Saturday night
Right.
at the players' party, hanging out with all the players of the event, and as well selling some of the Team Canada merch that we had out there for the Dieppe Open.
Nice.
Mhm.
And when we spoke to Luke last week, he also mentioned that this was going to be a bit of a Canadian Nationals preview. So hopefully, if this is anything to go by, what can we expect when we or any of our listeners if they're heading out there next year?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that I can't say enough of is how well they run the tournament. They're so organized, they're on top of everything. They have all the volunteers coordinated and ready to kind of spring into action on any aspect of the tournament that
Right.
they need. Like the organization of the starters and the staff and everything at both courses was phenomenal both years. And I know they're adding in. I think they're going to have 4 courses for nationals next year, and I have full faith that they're going to do a great job. I actually went and played the second course for the MPO. We'll be playing yesterday at Membrin-Cook, I think it is. I might not be saying it's French, but and it was really fun. They have 11 holes in right now, and I saw some of the holes that they've already started carving out all the holes for next year, and so I could see like the layout of it, and it just needs to kind of get the grass mode and whatnot for those other fairways. But it looked really, really like I had a blast playing it.
Nice.
It was a really fun course, and I think is a good complement to the Dieppe Open course.
Perfect.
Oh, great.
We're all looking
It'll be
forward to
good
it.
too, I think, Thomas, to see the MPO and the other pro divisions get a chance to play more than one course. I think that'll be a great opportunity for nationals.
Yeah, absolutely.
We do have our next guest waiting in the green room, Jeremy, just to let you know. Just want to quickly jump into a question we had in the chat here. With the talent pool growing in Canada, what will need to happen for it to take the next big step forward? That's one thing that we've always been asking.
You know, a nice little easy question for you there, Thomas. Nothing too complicated.
Yeah, just
solve disc golf in Canada.
2 or 3 sentences.
Right. It's interesting and it's tough. I think like nationals is really the event that is going to kind of highlight those diamonds in the rough. Like it's really hard to be able to I think compete against other high level Canadians unless you have these big events that everyone wants to travel out to. Kind of right now, even regionally, I'm one of the few players that will actually go out and play the A tiers in other provinces and compete and kind of bring that high level play to all these areas. And Noah Higgins is another player out west who I think has really kind of taken a step up in the last couple of years of like traveling around and playing a lot more events and getting to that higher level of competitiveness where he's really taken that step up and is actually a really like solid competitor.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what's going to take is just kind of elevating the level of competition in those areas and getting those players that are willing to travel to play against those higher level competitors instead of necessarily just dominating in the regions that they are. So hopefully nationals will be a priority for those players. I know I will always be attending the national championships. Like I think I've said in the past, like nationals is the one tournament that I think I might skip every other tournament in the year for. Like
Right.
Wow.
the only one that would possibly be difficult to say no to is the World Championships.
Yeah.
But that's only because I'm representing Canada for a whole nother reason. But to hold the national title is probably one of the most important accomplishments that I strive to achieve.
That's awesome.
That's a great answer,
Yeah.
Thomas. And I'll tell you, I'm getting ready to go to Tournament Capital Open here right away. And I was watching the Parks Pro coverage. And speaking of, Noah stepping up and you traveling, that was the tournament where you, Casey, and Max were right up there. And that was another good example, I think, of when everything was hitting kind of a peak. And we just need to see a lot more. I agree with you.
Yeah, exactly. When Max and Casey were playing full time and being really competitive, I think that was also one of the few times when like the level of Canadian play was really being elevated. It was really good competition, and the couple times when they also came out to Ontario, and I know Casey came out and played like Foxwood Open and competed against me and Marty. So, and that really I think just elevated the whole level of Canadian competition, and I think seeing more of that in the future is hopefully when we'll see the real strong players emerge.
Yeah. Okay, we got one more great question. I know we've got Colleen waiting, but this question just came in. This is from Disc Golf Ant. I hope that one day I'll get the chance to play with you, Thomas. I still have a lot of practice to do, but if you could give me one piece of advice to improve, what would it be? Now, I'm assuming that he's not an MPO, so
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, this advice could probably apply to an MPO player as much as it applies to like a fresh beginner. I think if you kind of feel stuck in your progress of whether that's through practice or if you're doing field work, all that type of stuff, kind of being able to look at yourself and look at your form is really important. So filming your throws and using that, slowing it down, and seeing all the little micro things that you might need to adjust. Have like a base form that you're trying to look at to model after. So like I was always looking at like Paul McBeth and Simon Lizotte when I was growing up, and now that I'm at my level now, I actually I will look back at some of my old videos in old form and be like, okay, that was like a really good weekend where it felt like my backhand or my forehand just couldn't miss, or my putt felt like it was like laser straight and effortless. And I'll go back and kind of like look at what I was doing then, or look at what other high level pros are doing and see what adjustments I can make to improve on that. So I think it's something that I started literally from when I was like playing the first couple months to I was doing this morning on my flight over. I was looking at some old videos and like microanalyzing form and stuff. So obviously it's all about like enjoying it too. Like don't micromanage yourself because it's going to probably get frustrating at some points how slow the progress feels, but it's just about small steps and celebrating those little milestones where you feel something click and something improve, and just be happy about that little improvement, and don't take it like I need to improve so quickly so fast, because I've been playing over a decade now, and it definitely has been a long journey.
Yeah, well, that's a
fantastic
Daryl,
advice. And I just wanted to say he's MA1 and he's 16 years old. So I think that was a fantastic.
You got lots of time.
Absolutely.
I started when I was 16 years old, so you got plenty of time.
Perfect. Thank you.
It's such a great answer there, Thomas. And I would add a little. I'm going to do a plug for you. If it worked out in the budget and the timing and everything else, go out to Smith Lake Disc Golf Camp and do that one of these years, because then you'll be right with you, Sophia, with Nate Sexton, with Chance, and have a chance to get a little one-on-one, and Daryl, of course, as well.
Yeah, yeah. We'd be happy to microanalyze the form for you.
Awesome.
Good stuff. All right, Thomas, we appreciate you. Daryl, I think you guys are going to see each other next weekend, aren't you?
It's next weekend, yeah. The
Yeah.
11th to the 14th. We'll be heading out there on the
Yep.
Thursday, so we'll be out there a day early than everybody else. But with all the activities on the Friday, the Saturday, finishing off on the Sunday, I will be out there. I will see you again.
Oh, fantastic. Look forward to it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And anything else before we let you go, Thomas? Any shout-outs or anything you wanted to mention, or did you think we get everything?
Yeah, pretty much everything. One thing I'll repeat is just the fact that we now have Team Canada fundraiser merch and things going on. So
Awesome.
check out candiscgolf.com if you want to help support Team Canada on their trip to Lithuania for the World Team Disc Golf Championships in September. So yeah, definitely check that out if you want to support.
Perfect. And it's great that there's a way now to support the whole team, because I know each individual was doing things last year on their own, or has done their thing on their own before, but now there's one way you can support the whole team, which is fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have any Battle for Big Maple coming up, Thomas? Anything scheduled?
Nothing scheduled yet. I actually am hoping I can maybe try to run one between the Smith Lake Camp and the BC Open, because I know I have I think maybe 1 or 2 weekends between the two. So I would be actually curious to see if I can maybe try to work something out and get one running somewhere in BC between those two events.
Awesome.
Okay. Good stuff.
Perfect.
Fantastic.
All right,
Fingers
Thomas.
crossed,
Well,
yeah.
I will be seeing you next week, and hopefully we'll be speaking to you again soon in whatever A tier you're going to be entering into next.
Okay. Thank you guys so much.
Awesome. Thanks, Thomas. Thanks for your time.
All right. Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.
See ya. All right. And you said we've got Colleen in the green room?
Oh yeah, she's been very patient. She's been in there a little while. And sorry, Colleen. There was just some questions that kept coming up in the chat, and we wanted to get to them. And yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I say, and then we'll get to her. We can tell her right away, face to face here, because our next guest hails from Burlington, Ontario, representing Team Bronte. She headed out to Dieppe for the second year in a row, and lo and behold, she took down the win for a second time. She was, Daryl, just so our listeners here can know, she was our first guest on the podcast from Ontario, going all the way back to episode 20, which was a great episode. You should go back and check it out. Yeah, over 100 episodes ago. That feels old, hey? Join us in welcoming Colleen McInnes to the podcast.
Hey, thank you guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. You're welcome anytime. Thanks for coming on the podcast. Well, I guess we start off by congratulating you and saying congratulations on winning the Dieppe Open.
Thank you. Yeah, a repeat win, which is probably one of the hardest things to do. It just feels kind of surreal, and I was thinking a lot about it, and feels actually very similar to last year. Different, a little bit of different competition, but very similar kind of outcome in the third round. So yeah, feels like deja vu. But
well, you know, Colleen, the funny thing is, and we didn't want to tell you before the event, we didn't want to put it in any messages to you or anything else, but we can say it now. There is a little bit of pressure there on the FPO side in Canada to keep the streak alive for A tiers in 2026. Because it started with Chantel, so she won her 4th in a row at Foxwood Open. And then Joe Henderson was out at Spring Runoff, the other A tier, and that was her back-to-back win. And then you were out at Dieppe, so you've kept the back-to-back wins of FPOs alive for 2026. So good job on that. And we didn't want to give you the pressure of it, but
amazing. Yeah. Yeah, pretty cool. And it's funny, like the first time I ever won an A tier, just for those amateurs out there, I didn't really understand. And I was like, I don't really understand what the difference is. It's just a tournament. But just, there is some benefits to it, more added cash for the pros. a little bit more prestigious. And as well, there's more points on the line for how you fare with both global masters rankings or pro rankings, just within the PDJ, not the pro tour rankings, but the PDJ rankings. So it's kind of cool to win an A tier. There's those little sweet bonuses for it, but yeah, it was awesome to win back to back. I'm glad I'm part of that club.
And one of the other sweet bonuses when you win an A tier is you get interviewed on the Chain Out podcast.
Yes, I was honored to get a message too, and I had a lot of things going on that we just got back and we drove back, so it was a long journey back, and then I worked today, and then I went to the course because Chris is running an event tomorrow. So shout out to Bronny and the Beast. It's local. It's been running for years. It's kind of got passed down from person to person. So he's taken it over for the last few years with our buddy Tobin, and our friend Ken as well is running the Masters. We're doing a Masters series in Ontario where they play during the week. So they get a little extra. Some of them want to play on the weekend as well, but they get a little extra tour going on, which is kind of cool. Helps with their global masters points. It's a fun. Sometimes like they'll do, more laid back day. They'll have more masters divisions available. So that masters series is going on with a lot of events. They'll have something on Thursday and then their tournament on the weekend. So we're running that tomorrow. And did some final touches. We painted the circles tonight, so should be fresh.
That's awesome. No, and when we did talk to Chris on the podcast there, he told us just about how much everyone puts the work into Bronte, whether it's mowing or any other kind of caretaking of the course. So it doesn't surprise me that you're out there just making things happen.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned
Bronte as well, honestly, because Tobin and Chris are running the event with their buddy Ken as well, doing the other event, and we've all been away at Dieppe. So thank you to all those guys. Big shout out to the Bronte crew for kind of picking up the slack. Can't cut the grass too early, so it was a timing thing, and they really pulled through for us. So yeah,
nice.
There you go. That's what it's all about. You mentioned there about you drove back, so obviously you must have drove out there. Looking at the internet, it says that it's a 17.5-hour drive, but I'm guessing that is without stops. So how long did it take you to get back?
Oh, well, so I think I kind of tuned in for Thomas as well, and he mentioned that we actually stayed over on Sunday night, and then we drove from Moncton area to PEI. So we made our trip even longer, and then drove back Monday. We got all the way to Edmundston, and then right where like the Quebec New Brunswick border is, and then drove home from there. So it was a big push to get back for me to work today. I don't know why I scheduled a shift today, but I did. And then for Chris to get back to do his course maintenance for the tournament tomorrow. So we drove, I think it was probably like 8 hours one day and 9 hours the other day, and stayed at a hotel randomly on the way. And we had just left PEI and got to this hotel. And when we woke up in the morning, Oz and Rachel were parked like 3 cars down from us. They happened to stay at the same hotel. And then we stopped in Quebec and got some poutine. And sorry for butchering that, anyone from Quebec. And we got cheese curds to bring home. And and Thomas said the hand pies. We actually stopped for hand pies, went to play Hillcrest, and then went back for more hand pies that we could put them in the cooler and bring them home. But they're that good. So honestly, it's worth going to PEI just for the hand pies. But you also have, I think, 11 courses on that tiny island.
Wow.
So I've been seeing some Facebook ads about it, and they won me over. We went over there, and it was a blast.
When you talk like that about it too, Colleen, I'm intending to head out to nationals next year. But every time we have a conversation about Atlantic Canada and what's happening out there, or whether it's at Newfoundland, it's like I need about a month, I think, to go out for nationals, and I just don't know if I can pull that off.
Yeah, yeah. It feels like it's always too short. I mean, with our trip to Lithuania, we're almost like frozen in what to do because there's so many possibilities, and that happens a lot when you go on disc
Mhm.
golf trips where you just want to make the most of it. But I highly recommend. My best advice is to anyone going to nationals this year or back to Dieppe next year for nationals. Stay with friends, go see that waterfall. I know you're tired after your round, but like go out to dinner, go see something that's in the town. I after one of my rounds, I went and found a yarn shop to go buy yarn from, some like locally dyed yarn to crochet with. So just like find those things that those are like the biggest memories that you bring back from a tournament. And the TDs, they really want you to explore the
Mhm.
city and all it has to offer, and that really reflects well back on them when they have people you know posting about going out to dinner or like getting that kind of revenue into the town, and then it makes the tournament succeed more. And I think that part of what Luke has done with his team is a lot of that, and a lot of community building and relationships, and making sure that his passion is expressed to us so that we understand, what is kind of being brought forward and where this came from and how much work they put in, honestly, to
Yeah.
get the sponsorship, to get they had a huge tent set up. It was like a real, PDGA Pro Tour event where you had like an actual party and DJ, and like there was booths set up. It was fantastic. So I think, pushing it forward every year, but also kind of expressing that passion of what goes back into it, and, making sure people have the opportunity to know about all the local things. Like they were recommending restaurants, they were recommending places to go visit. So
Awesome.
yeah, I think that brings that whole trip together when you take that opportunity. Don't just go play around and go to sleep.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
That's a
Like,
great point. And I think when I noticed it was also too, maybe I can add from our Clearwater trip, take a ride with a random podcaster up to from one course to another. That's always a good thing to do too.
Yes. And
But
that, I mean, that's the whole thing, like making friends in disc golf, and then it's just sometimes it works out where people can help you out. Thank you for that
yeah,
ride. I owe you a ride too. So
there you go. Well, I was going
just
to
before
add
you
to that.
carry on, Jeremy, I just got a question in the chat, and I kind of want to know myself. What is a hand pie? We've heard about
oh,
them. They sound delicious, but what
yeah,
exactly is a hand pie?
uh, it's like, imagine like a pizza pocket,
Hmm.
but it's made with pie crust. So like the flakiness of
Right.
like kind of like a chicken pot pie, like a really good one has that nice crust on top,
Hmm.
and it's like a pizza pocket, and they fill it with different things. So when we went, they have sweet and savory, and they have like cheeseburger, or they have sausage and egg, like a breakfast one, or pulled pork, and then they also have dessert ones. So
Nice.
when we were there, Thomas ordered a bunch of birthday cake ones so that back they were ready for him, and he took a bunch home. Um,
uh,
so yeah, they're lovely. Like I know a lot of disc golfers stop in there. It's really close to Huckett, so they've had Ella Hansen posting on Instagram about them, stuff like that. So it's just one of
They,
those little staples. If you're I don't know if it's all over, but I know if you're in the Ontario area, in downtown Toronto, that Sobeys sells hand pies.
okay.
Um,
oh,
they did a partnership with Sobeys over the last year, and so now they have them in stock, but only at that one location. So
Right.
I- there might be more locations across Canada, but they're kind of making their name for themselves and kind of spreading around. So
They sound
yeah,
delicious.
a pizza
yeah.
pocket on crack is
That's awesome. Well, and even just talking about it now, that's bringing good attention. And I think of what I was going to say, Colleen, was when we go to nationals places like Clearwater, where it is a bit smaller, the impact is immediate, right? When we
yeah.
bring 500 people to a city like that, they know immediately. But when we go to somewhere that might be a little bigger, it's probably important too, is, people might see us in our jerseys or other things like that, but when they ask, oh, how's your day going? Oh, it's great. We're here for the disc golf tournament. It's like, find any time you can to insert why you're there, because that will just also add that support to bring that event back the next time. So it's a good plug to put that into.
Yeah, and that's a really good point, because those people hear that, and when they have, local council meetings or votes on what they want to do with land, it helps that people have heard of disc golf before, especially small business owners. So that is probably the biggest impact we can make, is kind of sharing that, which I am being the worst, and I do have to make it. I know Thomas made a post today and tagging everyone in it, but like the city of Dieppe and the city of Riverview has really sponsored that event, and I think it's Greenfoot
Energy.
Greenfoot Energy Solutions. Like, they're the title sponsor, and they just see the vision, and I think it's a lot of what the success there is like I said, the passion that Luke brings just is contagious. You're all going to regret having not come to the last two Dieppe Opens, because it's just so fantastic there, and everyone's so welcoming, and it not even just to us as like the pros coming, but all of the people that came, all of our friends who were playing the amateur divisions, they felt so welcome, and people were so excited to see people from other provinces. I know nationals is not always the easiest to get to, but I can't express enough how important it is for the pros to support these big events. I know Thomas talked a bit about that, but getting the divisions out to nationals, being cognizant of like how important that is for the future of disc golf, and like the youth in our sport, to see Team Canada, to see all the big names at nationals, to kind of look at that as something that they want to have as a goal, and have a path for that. It's not just locals going or whoever's on that side of Canada. So go to nationals, go to it. Do everybody go.
Absolutely.
Go to Alberta. If you're not signed up, you better get signed up.
Well, and the thing is you're speaking from experience, because both you and Chris have pretty much gone to every nationals, when we were talking with Chris, since the pandemic, if not even before that. So we know how passionate you are, and we need to see a lot more of that. And that's where, not everybody has the means to do it, but if you plan ahead, and especially now that Can Disc Golf is announcing 2 years in advance, there's a lot more time to think about that and plan your year. Of course, support your local community, your local events, but see if you can't support nationals, because that's how our sport's going to grow. I believe it just as much as you.
Yeah, and it brings a good precedent to those who are hosting next year, right? Getting a good turnout for Clearwater means that Alberta can bring that as leverage to the city. Look how many pros we're getting out. If it continues on an increase, it's even more leverage. So every little thing we do matters and helps.
Yeah. Well, and being that it's the site of nationals, we don't want to gloss over, because that was all a good information that we definitely want to cover. We don't want to gloss over your play and your event. So I'm going to let Daryl take it back over to the tournament, and we want to hear a little bit about a little deep dive. Not a big deep dive, but we got a little deep dive for you.
We'll skim the surface, yeah. So your first round, you finished strong with 4 birdies on the back 9, and you had a +5 second place. That was just 2 shots behind Karen Martel. How did you think that first round went?
It's really hard to gauge out there. I looked at our scores last year. I was 1 stroke back from what I shot last year in the first round, which was worse conditions.
Yeah.
It certainly wasn't as it was really windy. It was insane. And I think part of what happened with us, we were at 10 a.m. Then the next day we were at 11:45 or something. And then the next day we were back at 10 a.m. So on the first day we had terrible morning wind and a little bit of rain. And then in the second day, it was still really windy, but because we were later in the day, it kind of started to die down. And then the third day was great. So the first day I kind of had very little expectation. I was, it's funny, but I was nervous. Like, I'm always nervous going into tournaments, and I think people think that you grow out of it, and you don't. Um, and like, being the highest rated, there's a lot of expectation on you to do well, and then feels like you're not succeeding if you're not in first. So, but like, I was really happy with my first round. I walked off feeling like, I got the flow of what I was trying to do towards the end. I felt very unsure of what to do and what to throw, and the putts it was hard to be confident. So it felt good at the end to be a little bit more successful and then kind of go from there. And I kind of tried to carry that into the next day as well. But I did find myself doing in the second round a little bit of what Thomas said, where I knew me and Karen were close. We kind of were jockeying back and forth. And I think we both kind of did that. After the second round, I was in the parking lot talking to her and Julie. And I was like, I thought we played way better the second day. I was really happy with some of the mistakes that I cleaned up and like just generally feeling more confident on the course. And the rating sucked. And I was like, oh, I feel like literally was in the parking lot being like, I feel like we could shoot so much better at this course. We could crush this course. And, we all kind of like, resonated with that and talked about that. And then the next day, me and Karen really did go out there and just like crush the course. So it felt very much like a progression forward in that whole tournament. Like we all were kind of doing it together a little bit, and like we were all facing the conditions, then we were all facing the confidence, and then we were all kind of so excited that the third day was fairly nice.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned it there with the third day. I put it in the notes that you and Karen lit it up because between the two of you, there were 18 birdies scored, and it looked like it could have been anybody's tournament. Like you were just battling, as you said, jockeying for position. And talking to Thomas, we got a little better feel about hole 14, and it looks like that must have been the main separator because you found a way to birdie that hole, and then Karen unfortunately took the triple. So is that kind of for you, like right up until that point, it was a tight battle and then you kind of felt maybe some breathing room?
Yeah, I was, so like I said, in the second round, I was very aware of what was going on between us. And so for the third round, I really tried to just turn that off and really just only think about what am I trying to do on this hole today? Like, am I going to go for this? Should I lay this up? Should I run this putt? Like, just thinking about that and just thinking about getting a good rating. And I know a lot of people just don't put a lot of stock in a rating, but it is an important point for a lot of us as pros, especially with things like Team Canada. Being in a position to be on that team is only because our ratings are like that. And if I don't care enough about my rating, it's just I'm not doing my due diligence to kind of be successful with like my goals, which is obviously like to represent Canada, like Thomas said, to win nationals. Like those kind of things are really important. And so to have that edge of consistency in rating, it is important. So that's all I honestly thought about the whole round. And when we got to that hole, I hadn't looked. I didn't care anymore, and I was trying to just birdie all the holes I knew I could birdie and get a really good score and like beat all the guys that were playing our layout. Like I had a buddy on the course playing the same layout, so like we were chatting about it, and I just wanted to do really well. And then when that happened, I did look, and I was genuinely thought Karen was ahead, and she was by I think one, so that really flipped everything. And it was really hard to ignore that after because you kind of just can go on to like default mode after that and be like, oh, I have 3 strokes, but you have 4 holes left. You could easily lose the tournament. You could lose 2 strokes on 1 hole, like easily. Which one of the holes coming up was what happened last year. So We got to 16, or sorry, after 14, we got to 15. And that hole, like Thomas said, is one of the hardest holes on the course. They changed it. That was one of the biggest changes. It was a really fun hole the way it was, but it really wasn't that challenging. And even if you didn't have a shot that went all the way to the basket, you could have an open look. Like, it wasn't very challenging. So the hole now is to lay up short of that basket and then turn directly right. And
Right.
Karen has a huge advantage with just being very skilled with the forehand and also being confident in that shot. So I knew that on 15, if I stopped trying to push, that could be bad. So
Right.
I just tried to go back to what I thought. I had written some notes about Christy, the Christy Lake tournament, where I was just so pissed off about how I played. And one of them was to stop playing against people and play against the hole. That's what you're trying to do anyways. It doesn't matter if you win, if you didn't do what you were trying to do, if you never felt successful in the tournament. So we both parred that hole, which is great. I don't think birdieing it this weekend was kind of an option for me, so I was thrilled with that. And then going to the next hole, 16 is the hole that happened last year. So Chantel was at least one ahead of me, and I eagled that hole, and she bogeyed it. So it was like another 3-point swing, and it completely changed the tournament. So going into that hole, I felt really confident, and I had an eagle look, and my heart wasn't in it because I knew I didn't have to make it. So an easy birdie there. And then on 17, me and Karen both did something I've never seen, which we both parked 17.
Okay.
It's
Great.
a tee-pad across all divisions. It is one of the trickiest shots you have. It looks like a forehand, but it is absolutely not. It's a turnover. And just the way it's shaped and the delay of the turn. And there's an immediate gap you have to hit. Probably 60 feet off the tee pad, and then more trees as you go, that if you go too inside or too outside, you'll hit. It looks so easy, and it's so hard. We both laced it. One of the guys that ended up being on Chris's card that round was like, oh my gosh, I haven't even seen someone park that, and that was amazing, and two people did it. So then, that was like, I felt like on 18 I couldn't lose. It's a really hard hole. It's easier for us. We played the shorts. The MPOs had a lot longer to get through the gap. It was pretty immediate. But for us, the issue is you throw a fairway driver, you go too long, and you go B. And not long to the pin. Just, it's a big turnover forehand. If you don't do that, you're not really pushing to a good spot. So, you're disking down to a mid-range and kind of trying to push it as far as you can without going at all left and not too right. So that shot, I felt really confident that even if I went OB, I could still lay up and get a par, and ended up in bounds. And then Karen knew she had to go for it, so she pulled out a distance driver. I think I don't know what it was, but it was a big shot, and she crushed it. The hole is just not eagleable. It's just she had a really, probably the best drive I could ever do on that hole, and she was still so far away. So it was a really long bid to get that eagle. So she tried and was kind of probably like, if I get this and she goes OB kind of situation. So
Had to try.
That last one, really, really feeling confident.
Nice.
Fantastic.
That sounded like the way you describe it, I felt like I was there, and I just wish I had looked more at the holes so I could see the topography of them. But you did a great job at painting the picture. That sounds like a great event. And Karen is such a great competitor, and we kind of wanted to talk about a few of them as well too. So you got a chance to play with all of the FPOs except for one over the weekend when we looked, including our Albertan FPO, Chelsea Sutton. How did you enjoy your time playing with Chelsea?
Oh, it was wonderful. it's funny because it was, I think, on hole 15 or something during our round. Me and Karen were on the card because I was on Karen's card the whole tournament, but we just shifted off people. And Chelsea during that round was like, just got like kind of started gushing at one point about like, oh, it's really cool to play with you guys because like we're all from different provinces and you don't really get to kind of cross mingle a lot. So I think she was just pretty psyched to have gotten that for the first round. And she was fantastic. She was really fun to play with. Really, really great attitude and like great skill. So that was a joy. And then round 2, I got to play with Melody.
Mm.
She's from Quebec as well. And she was wonderful. She had a really, really tough time on hole 3. And it was just the sweetest moment of just Karen and her. I don't know what they said. They were talking French the whole time.
It sounded sweet.
Yeah, it was so sweet. She was just kind of comforting her and just reassuring her. I think, it's important maybe for me to say really publicly and really, really loud for all the FPOs out there, you deserve to be there. Your rating does not dictate what you are. Yeah. We have a high competition threshold in Ontario. I play against some of the best people in Canada on a regular basis. We play courses that we share layouts with the MPOs here. We've got Chantel and Rebecca going on tour. And sometimes it can even be hard for me to feel like, I belong where I belong. And so just really loudly for those FPOs, you deserve that. You should be there. Don't ever feel like your rating or your score dictates what you are as a player. Tournaments are hard. I 100% have thrown up before a tournament because I'm so nervous.
Wow.
After a tournament because I was so sad. It's a lot of emotions. So you all belong. You all deserve to be there. And I think that traveling and getting to know that and getting to see other FPOs is one of the best things you can do. So I think that, that really reassured Chelsea for sure that like she's on the right track and she belongs in FPO and she's gonna really succeed. And same with Melody. And I think that it can be really hard in the moment, but it's scary to do hard things. But those are the things that make you the best that you can be. So keep at it and keep doing that. And like, don't look at my rating and be like, oh, I can't beat Colleen. Cause Karen's rating is certainly not indicative of how she plays. Like she was crushing me out there. So really that kind of thing, just kind of push that out and make sure that you feel like you're there to do your best. Like I said, don't play a course or don't play a player, play the course, like play your game, be proud of a shot you did. Don't be like, I didn't park it, but be like, I finally got around that corner. Like the little successes are the important things, and your goals aren't the same as someone else's. And you shouldn't worry ever to compare yourself like that. I know we do in ratings and we do in placing and, things like that. But it's so important for us to push the female field forward. And those people all have such a meaningful place in Canada. So, I really, really appreciated playing with them, and I'm really happy to play with Julie. I'm really excited. We're teammates this year for Team Canada. We're different team, but same team. So that was fun, and I'm super mad I didn't get to play with Tanis. That kind of sucks to, if we had just had different cards the first round, me and Karen could have linked up later, but it was really fun to kind of get a variety and get everyone out there.
Well, you mentioned Melody's name. She was a new one new one to us when we were looking at the fantasy picks and when we were looking through the cards. But checking out her Instagram, it looks like she's definitely, like you mentioned about having that, the right mindset. She looks like she wants to push forward and continue pushing forward. She looks like she actually wants to, one of her dreams is to play on the pro tour. So she's definitely got that goal ahead of her. And if she's going to keep pushing towards that, then I don't see there's any reason why she won't get there.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, and
Well,
she's got similar. Yeah, we're cheering for you. And she's got similar goals to me, but she's probably a little bit closer. I saw her put up one that was she wanted to throw 375 feet. I also do, but I think I've got to get past 275 feet before I can start going for 375.
Man, there were some shots out there where we were like, I'm happy with 275. I'm happy with 200 because the wind was so raging. Like, yeah, it was. And I honestly, last weekend, I had a tournament where we played on a ski hill, and it was, you might have seen Thomas's post.
Yeah, I seen that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
So I had 2 weekends of wind. I am really hoping that this weekend is nice.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Thomas, we did talk to him earlier, and we asked him about all the extracurricular activities that were going on. And obviously, Luke and Rick mentioned it last week as well. Did you get a chance to take in any of those as well?
Yeah. Similarly, I was not able to go to the Glowy because the MPOs were they weren't like quite started by the time the MPOs finished, but I was following with Chris, and then once like Oz and all of our like hosts came in, it was kind of like, all right, let's go get dinner. Everyone's starving, and so we didn't, and we would have had to like really hike it over to that course. So it was we did not go to that, and that really sucks. I love going to Glowy, but it just doesn't work out sometimes, and that's totally fine. But I did on Thursday night, we did a women's clinic, and it was horrible rain. Thankfully, so this year, like I said, they had a huge tent and area that was like covered. So we went in there and we did like a verbal clinic. Like it's kind of like about strategy and mental game and just like tips for things that you can like think about on the course, or ways to prepare, ways to practice, things like that.
That's awesome.
Karen did a little bit about form, and then, but we didn't get to throw or anything because it was just so bad out and it was so cold. So Luke was great. They had an app this year for the tournament, and you'll see that next year, but you've probably seen it at other events as well. So he sent out a notification that they were going to reschedule the women's clinic for right before the players' party. So on Saturday night. Okay. So we did like a verbal clinic, and then Saturday night everyone was there. We had vendors out. We did like a proper clinic with the women there, and like got to actually throw. But we also opened it up to anyone that wanted to come. So it's a little bit of a debate, and I think that this is something good to look at within your community. And the only way you can find this out is to ask the women in your community. But we had a women's clinic where we talked a lot about mental game and like strategy and things like that related a lot to women. So I had asked Luke if, when he did the next part for the clinic, if he could make it a clinic run by women instead of a clinic for women. Because the form part and stuff like that, a lot of the time people who are new will kind of gain a lot more advice from women and can develop their game a little bit better through that advice, versus like if you're looking at getting advice from a pro tour player, there's a lot of foundation that you need first, and so it's kind of useless. So it was good to do a clinic where like some amateur guys came out, and maybe even like a few pros and like a few of the pro women, and some of the amateur women came out, and so it was like a very good group and mix of people, and we had a great turnout. That was really successful, and it was kind of cool because the next day someone came back to tell me that some of the advice we gave them really helped in their game. Just a little things, and I think that there's like 200 people in this tournament, and we had maybe 20 or so people come out for the clinic. And I think sometimes people can feel like, oh, well, what am I going to learn? Or I don't want to I don't want to take away from someone who's brand new and take time from the people running the clinic instead of them helping that brand new person. But I will say that I think it's more valuable to go. Just kind of push that, like if you're socially uncomfortable, just push that boundary and go. Because often like the things that people say, there will be 20 different tips given.
Yeah.
That's probably even undershooting. And maybe one or two of them really resonate with you as something that you've never heard before. Someone's not explained it like that before, or the way that they showed you, or something just clicked that made sense. And so I would also say, if you get an opportunity to teach somebody new, even if you're new, do that, because the way that you talk about disc golf to someone else, when you can teach someone, when you can explain and break it down, it like reinforces that level of understanding that you have. So it can actually teach you more doing a clinic than attending a clinic sometimes. You're like, oh yeah, I remember I used to do this. And like when people ask you about like how to solve a problem. So that can really help. But the little things that you hear during a clinic really can go far. So, but like I said, I ask your local community if you're a woman, if you're running a women's clinic, would they prefer it be without guys, or are they okay with that? Because we don't want to create something where, women are scared to ask questions and they're shy and they don't want, guys encroaching and it's just all about throwing big.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing, like, oh, I don't want to take away from time of real players. And it's like, you're a real player too. So that, if women's clinic just wants to be about women, that's totally cool. And if you have the opportunity to go to a women's clinic as a guy, I think it's really beneficial. There's a lot of advice. Like a lot of people watch FPO coverage and think that's how I play. So
absolutely.
It makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's something that Jeremy and I have always said is that, we can watch Thomas throw 500, 600 feet, but we know we're never going to, get anywhere near that. We model our game after the FPOs because they're, like you said, they play more our style. And maybe one day I'll be able to throw as far as Colleen McInnes. You never know. But the other thing I would say is, you mentioned there about, anyone coming out to a clinic, as long as everybody's on board with it. Maybe you're thinking that you're taking away from somebody who actually needs that advice. But if somebody has a little bit more experience and they ask a question, that's still knowledge and a tip that younger or newer player can take as well. So, there's different levels of learning. It doesn't just have to be a completely 100% beginner clinic for beginners to learn. They can learn at any level, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, thinking that you don't need it, and then going out and shooting well below your rating is kind of all the proof you need for some of those people. But, I don't want to like also take away from the question that you guys had about all the stuff that was going on. They also
yes.
they had tic-tac-toe with discs, which was so cool. I don't know. I can't remember if it was at Nationals in Ontario, but I've seen it somewhere else before. But yeah, you're trying to shoot it in the lanes and kind of get like 4 in a row, or sorry, connect 4, get like 4 or 5 in a row, whatever. They also had like a horseshoes with little not horseshoes but washers.
The washer toss, yeah.
The washer toss. And then they had the most unique CTP competition I've ever seen, and I loved it. We live streamed it for our club because Tobin went so far. He was so excited. He got to the semifinals, but it was it was so exciting because we played hole one, but it was to another basket. They put it in the baseball diamond, but like 20 feet past the fence. So you had to like go over the fence and just kind of drop down to it. And it was only, I think, 100 feet for the amateurs and like 150 for the pros. Like that might not be the most accurate, but it was really short for everybody. So
Okay.
when you went up, you signed up as a pro or you signed up as an amateur, and then you play another amateur. And you get 2 shots, and whoever's closest wins, and it's elimination.
Right.
So you
Oh.
go on to the next match or you don't. And it was so fun and so exciting to watch. And I think it was really fun for some of the pros to beat other pros that they were losing to. And it was, yeah, and it was just great. And they had prizes, but they also had a raffle for anyone who played it. And so like I saw Karen the next day, she won a bag boy. If anyone
Nice.
wants to
Wow.
buy it off her, she might sell it. But she might keep it. She won a bag boy in the raffle, and I went and I was like, "Oh, congrats on that raffle win!" And she goes, "Yeah, I threw 2 discs. They're both crap, and I won a bag boy." She and I both went and did our match, and we both immediately lost and immediately got out. So that was kind of
That's
funny.
awesome.
But yeah, that was like one of the most entertaining things. And they did it relatively quick. So if you guys are looking for a fun thing to do at your tournament, shoot Luke a message and he'll send you the form. It's like super easy, but it was a lot of fun. So I
Oh,
Awesome.
hope to see, things like that next year, but it's kind of Alberta, you should do that too.
Mhm.
yeah.
It's really fun.
Dylan, Sam, are you listening?
Yeah, like I mean, doing a distance competition's great, but we kind of know who's gonna win that.
Mhm,
It's not a surprise, but it's cool to see pros throw really far. But it's
mhm,
really fun to see people's accuracy with upshots, and it's
mhm.
really enlightening to see some of the masters, because you're like, oh wow, they have control. They know what their discs are doing. Like they're not doing these reckless lines that were like I'm gonna forehand this justice at it instead of just like throwing a putter there. Like, um, so it's really fun to watch. So I recommend that to any tournaments out there. Do some games. They make the tournament a bit more elevated.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that idea, and when Luke had mentioned the bracketing and that, I thought that was cool. And as you said, is if you're taking out somebody who was maybe taking you out in the round, it gives you at least a little sense of accomplishment for the for the day too.
Yeah. Oh, and another thing as well that I should mention, they had a beer garden.
Oh,
They
Ooh.
okay.
had a brewery on site, and you could go sit in like the little area, which was where the pavilion thing was. So you could, if it was raining, you could still stand under it, and hang out and have a beer, and you could watch hole one go off. So if you
Oh.
finished your round and wanted to come over to the Dieppe course and watch that, or if you were on that course, and then my suggestion to them next year was to do, because they have to have it licensed, right? That's
Yeah.
why it's in an enclosed area, was to do a second one and put it over by 18, so that at the end of the day when all the cards are coming in, you can kind of go sit and watch people come in on 18. And
Right.
they already had a bandstand there to sit on, so it was like it would be so fun. So look forward to that next year. They'll have a brewery on site. They had some food trucks. They had I think the Boys and Girls Club was doing hot dogs. Um, they had snacks, bathrooms everywhere, so much water.
Wow.
So
Awesome.
really, really decked out.
Oh, it just sounds like it keeps getting better and better, and every nationals we've been to has been good, and this is just boding so well for next year's event. And maybe just a quick question with that too, Colleen, kind of maybe going to it from the FPO's perspective. How does the course look? Um, we know what Thomas was saying about it from an MPO, but the FPOs are going to be playing a layout. Some of the other divisions will play that same layout. Does it feel pretty good? Do you have any um, tips or things that people should be starting to practice before next year, or what do you think?
um, I think so. If you have wooded courses, there are quite a few wooded holes. Like 14 is one of those. 14 is a little bit wider wooded, but it is terrifying. And it's downhill for the second half of it. So practicing those wooded shots is really, really helpful. There was a lot. I would say it is a forehand friendly course, or a lefty friendly. There was a number of holes where it was kind of a smarter choice to do a forehand, maybe an easier line. We played, there's two tee pads at Dieppe. We played the hybrid layout, which is a mix. I think there was like five longs and like 5 shorts and like 8 shared, or somewhere around that. So it is, every hole I went up to, I wasn't like, this is a stupid par. It was great because we weren't put against the MPOs. Like the pars made sense.
Right.
The holes were good. There might have been a few, and I really, really like this, but there might have been a few soft pars in a sense of like you could eagle this hole at our distance of throwing, which feels really good because I feel like sometimes people reserve the idea of an eagle for MPO.
Right.
Particularly like for amateurs playing the shorts. Like there's not often opportunities for that. So having that hybrid layout and the short layout where there were, if you really got on a good rhythm of a hole, like you could totally eagle some of those ones. And I think that made me love the course more, just because it's so rare for us as FPOs. I will give some insider knowledge. So
Sure.
Ooh, okay.
Nothing that they wouldn't want us to say, but I know that we are going to play Dieppe, and it sounds like a lot of the pro divisions will probably go. I think it's called Memram Cook.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think you and Thomas pronounced it about the same.
Yeah, yeah. I want to call it Membrook. I don't know why, but I think that's a place in Ontario. But it's another course that's I think 12 holes,
Mm-hmm.
and they're something like that, and they're expanding it. So that course, like Thomas went and played it. It's not quite done. They were working on it while we were there. It wasn't used in the tournament, so that's definitely going to be one. Another one is Tricky Trails, which the amateurs played for this tournament.
Yeah.
Tricky Trails lives up 110% to its name. It has tricky lines all over the place. You're like literally ironic. It's so ironic, but you're literally saying it every hole. You're like, oh, that's such a tricky line. And it's such a perfect word for that course. So we played it, and we played it from the shorts for fun with our friends, and they were doing a practice round. So we just threw one shot on each hole, and it was really hard. And it was tricky. So I think that one's really fun. I think there's a potential of many divisions going there, but probably not the MPOs. They'll
Right.
get whatever the hardest thing they can give them. And so some of us other divisions might go there. I'm pretty sure CDT as well is going to be another course, but I don't know, and that'll probably be more reserved for like juniors, maybe I don't know, maybe some MA3 or FA3 things. I don't know, but that course, that's where they did the glow, and it's a little bit of a shorter course,
Right.
Okay.
much less demanding, so you're not throwing your arm out and you're not hiking too much.
Yeah.
So that those are as far as I know, those are the 4 courses that they have right now. They might not be using CDT. I know they use it for the glow course, but I don't know that it's good enough to be in the tournament. They might have a 4th one somewhere else. But yeah, it's looking really good. If you play Dieppe and don't like that course, then I think there's something wrong with you. It really has everything. It has so many different kinds of holes. There's
awesome.
holes that like do this huge dog leg to the left, and then there's holes that do a huge dog leg to the right, and straight holes and forested and open. The one that everyone has been talking about this year, that Thomas had mentioned, the kind of eagle that they took away from them, because it is intense when you are throwing at a baseball diamond and the baseball diamond is hazard.
Yeah.
Or if you throw at the baseball diamond and there's like I don't know how tall those fences are, but there's a huge fence right in front of you, and if you don't throw it high enough, you're smashing into it and you are in the worst possible spot. So like, do you go over it and go in the hazard, or there's like a huge pitch around the left side and it's awful. I know one of the FPOs tried to lay up down the left side and not go over the baseball diamond, and on the second, I think it was the second day, the wind lifted her disc so bad she went on the other baseball diamond.
Oh no.
Not usually in play for this hole at all. So
Oh, wow.
Wow.
that it was like the wind was crazy and the confidence, like you really just kind of have to go in and be like very sure of your bag. You know what your discs are going to do.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know, if I throw this disc into a headwind and it flips up for me, I know what that means for the rest of my bag. I know what every other disc is going to do based on what that disc did. And so you really need to know comparatively how your discs fly to each other, so that in that kind of round you can adapt, because it was crazy. So that hole was super fun. They made that more challenging this year. They moved the basket back. It's an island. They were going to try and make us tin cup it, but I don't think that happened. They changed the rule. They're going to make us go from the drop zone over and over until you crossed inbounds. Until you landed inbounds.
Right.
But they clarified that if you cross, you can at least move up. So there was people, I watched some trauma on that hole. I watched people throw from the drop zone more than once, more than twice. So,
well,
yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, you're painting a fantastic picture. We can't wait to get out there next year. You've made the whole event come to life, like Jeremy said. It felt like I was there. Before we let you go, we are approaching the end of the podcast. We do want to shout out the fact that you'll be heading to Lithuania. You mentioned it earlier. Are you wearing the merch? Yeah, just going to say you're wearing the merch right there.
Fire sweater.
Yeah.
No, there's a whole bunch. There's hats, sweaters, shirts, and stuff. This is just the first pre-sale. I know the orders are going in for July 1st. So get your order in before July 1st. There's two options. I think probably Oz has gotten home and fixed it. So what we have set up is direct delivery, which is very expensive, but it will get mailed to your house, or a local pickup. We've advocated across Canada to Can Disc Golf members, like the committee members and the team members, and tried to kind of facilitate whatever we could to get pickup spots. So additionally to that, I know if you order stuff, there is always the ability for us to bring it to Nationals, and we will be selling merch at Nationals in person. So there will be a second release, I believe, after the July 1st, but it may not be the same products, may not be the same colors. I don't know. So kind of want to get your order in and not wait. But if you do wait, I know they are doing a second order. I believe from now on, this will be streamlined through the rest of existence. So we will be able to raise funds for every team here on out this way. It won't likely come down. It may change. They may update who they're ordering from and how it streamlines. But we are looking to kind of consistently be selling Team Canada merch to raise money each time a team goes.
Awesome.
We're looking at, there is potentially an event in between the World Games things.
Mm-hmm.
So every year there will be a Team Canada to fundraise for. So that's kind of good news. To be able to not have to wait and wonder, what are they coming out with this year? It'll be something to look forward to every year. So yeah.
Perfect. And
just the beginning.
Are you excited to go out to Lithuania to represent Team Canada? I mean, obviously you must be. You wouldn't say no. I'm not excited.
I am thrilled. It's such an honor. It really is one of the coolest things I think I probably will do in my life. Um, but it's been such an opportunity to be able to go to other countries and kind of see more of the world. It's very humbling and enlightening. It's also probably some of the things that we've gotten to do or I never would have gotten to do, and maybe never experienced. And so I can't wait to see what Lithuania has to offer. We're flying in there. We're gonna kind of me and Chris are winging it.
You got plenty of time.
We have a lot of plans. There's trains to kind of go everywhere, but we'll be doing as much as we can.
Absolutely.
But I'm thrilled that there's a Masters team. I can't wait to see what WIFDF continues with this track. We're really pushing for. I know, at least I don't want to speak for Team Canada, but I am really pushing for equality. I would love to see an FP50 spot on that Masters team, so there's a little bit more equality there. And I would love to see, which I know WIFDF is working on, a juniors team eventually possibly going. So
Great.
I'm really excited about the future of disc golf. I think we're really going in the right direction. There's so many organizations that come together for this with PDGA and WIFDF and all of the governing bodies of every country. So it's honestly like nothing I've ever experienced. It doesn't even compare to going to Worlds or USDGC. Like it's the people that you meet at these tournaments are often the best people in their country, but usually people like Chris Ozolins, who is a lot of our country and certainly a lot of our province of disc golf. Like we wouldn't be where we are in Ontario without a lot of his efforts and not to discount anyone else, but like having those really pivotal people. Dinko is running the tournament this year, and he's also the man who ran it. There's a few other people, but he also ran it with his partner in Croatia. So that kind of goes to show how lucky we are in Canada to have such strong leadership in all of our provinces, because, you know, when we have someone to be able to step into that role, but we have like 10 people to be able to step into that role, we don't need to kind of maybe borrow from someone else or somewhere else. We really have great leadership here. So, but it's so cool to go meet all those people, talk to them like about what's going on in their countries. And it really is, it's kind of like what happened with New Brunswick, going there and talking to people about, I have like 50 courses in an hour of my house. It's absurd. And people are like, I have 5 courses in like 5 hours of my house. Like, you know, it's super different. So it kind of makes you a little bit more humble about how lucky we are and how much of our success really can be dictated based on where you are. And kind of goes back to like, you can't compare across the provinces because we're all so different. Just like you can't compare across the world. Every country's so different and has their own growths and struggles. And it's just fascinating to be able to be a part of that and hear kind of those stories. So that's what I'm looking forward to the most, is really being able to see some old friends and meet new people and trade jerseys and stay up too late and probably go see a waterfall and maybe get food poisoning again. So everything.
Perfect.
That's going to be awesome, Colleen. And we appreciate you giving us all the time. I am excited to see you and Brownie come out to Nationals. If either of you need a ride anywhere, you just let me know. I'll drive you all around Grand Prairie. You're covered here. But before we do let you go, as we get to the end, I'm sure you got to get Bronte ready there for the weekend. Is there anything else that you wanted to bring up or mention before we wrap it up?
Just a big thank you to you guys. Without this podcast, you know, like I think we would be at such a shame with how connected we are right now with you guys sharing these stories and sharing like spotlights on people, but also information about all the A tiers that are happening and these picks that you guys do. people don't watch every single episode or every single thing, and I'm to see the dedication, and it's just as important as going to your events, going to club, or running something, or sponsoring something. Like running this podcast, it's just the time and dedication you guys put in is amazing. So I really appreciate that, and I appreciate your support. You guys are the best. So, and thank you to all the listeners out there. Thank you for being on here and supporting these guys. It really does make a big difference to all of us everywhere. And so even if the numbers don't always show it, it really is big in our hearts. So thank you.
Thank you. I think what you're really saying is if people are watching and they're not subscribed, they should definitely subscribe.
Subscribe. And buy these guys a beer when you see them.
We do like our beer. That is true. No, we like our beer. We're good.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Colleen.
I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys. We're gonna get that practice round we never got, and hopefully not too busy with interviews and stuff. But I'm always down. I know me and Chelsea talked before we separated and said our goodbyes about playing a practice round. So if you guys want to hook up with that would
there
be
you
awesome.
go.
I'll get the full Alberta treatment.
There you go.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, it'll be so much fun. So thank you, Colleen. We appreciate the kind words, and your time is always fantastic. We got to make sure it's not too long before the next time you come on. So
yeah. What's the next date? You know what? I'm going to win nationals this year just to be on the pod. Not goals or anything.
We love it.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks for your time, Colleen.
Bye.
Thanks.
See you. Oh, Daryl, I really mean it there. It's like it's been so long since we've had Colleen on, and it's like that's just one of the most positive, great guests we can have on, and I've always loved every interaction with her. She's so awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's one of speaking to Colleen is like one of those times when I didn't realize it was 110 episodes ago since we spoke to her. Have we not? No, we spoke to her at WIFDIF as well. You had me thinking it was a long time since we spoke to her, but
no. We've spoken.
That was the first
episode.
For sure. Yes, for
sure.
That
was the very first time we've chatted with her, and we had her on too because she did win the Dieppe Open last year. And it was a much shorter conversation because we just didn't. We were jam packing guests in there, so it's kind of nice. That's the other thing about having the tournament directors on the episode before, and then having the MPO and FPO, we can give them a bit more space to have these conversations. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I think it was a great A-tier recap show, Daryl, and I really do wonder if our true Eastern, not the ones that we used to call our Eastern Canadians, but the true Eastern and Atlantic Canadian listeners, what they think about having the Ontario players come out and take their tournament, their A-tier, their one A-tier that they have out there. I'm sure, like us, they love Thomas, they love Colleen, they love the players, but deep down, you've got Oliver, Anthony, Tanis, the rest of them. They're quoting Happy Gilmore right now. They're saying they're throwing practice putts into the basket, going only 364 more days until the next Dieppe Open. And I think it's a little longer than that, but kind of, me, I like my quotes, so I'm sure that's where they're at this point.
That's awesome.
Everybody stuck around here. I appreciate everyone hanging in. I think we got a giveaway to get to, don't we?
We do. Should we do it right now? Oh, you know what?
We got to.
I don't know if I loaded it up. I did it. No, give me 1 second. I will make it work. If you
I do like the fact that you were able to, on the fly, fix your little window there.
I don't know. I couldn't get any work. I couldn't get it any better, and I had to squat down in the chair. It was so uncomfortable. I wanted to kind of sit up a little bit. I don't know what was happening with that.
Well, I know Robbie Holden's in the chat there, and he just joined a little later, and he was talking how we'd be proud of his beard, but it would have been awesome had he saw at the beginning of the episode when all it was your beard.
That's all it was. That's all you need.
Yeah.
if you keep talking, I will.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'll talk while you start looking at that. You do what you're doing there. I'm gonna just
Yeah.
we didn't give our sponsors a shout out, so let's do a quick shout out on that. So we are sponsored by BR Disc Golf and by Disc Republic, two great store sponsors that you can do your shopping at. And when I was looking at things for this week, it's kind of great with the BR ambassadors that are out there. So they were down in Drayton Valley this past weekend, and from what we heard, that was, again, there was a lot of rain out here in the Alberta area, or out where you are right now, where I
Mhm.
normally am. It was a tough event. Sunday got even tougher, cold, rain, wind, all of that. So we want to put a congrats out to Terry Hong, finishing second in FPO. She's a BR ambassador. Dan Dupree's, he was out there, finished second in MA1. And then Mark Thompson, friend of the show, finishing eighth in MA2. So that's on the BR Disc Golf side, and be sure to check out what they've got on the website if you're doing some shopping. And then with Jason and Disc Republic, he had mentioned this to us, and I was doing some perusing. Is he has the newest Squatch bags either on order or available to order or in store, and he has all of the new colorways. And I was like, whatever, new colorways. What does that mean? You know, sometimes you think is that a big deal?
Yeah.
But two of the things about that: one, he may be the only place right now, Disc Republic in Canada, that has the new colorways. And when I looked at them, Daryl, you'd think, oh, Jeremy, you want the blue, you want the baby blue, that kind of thing. But there is this like cherry red, this Gannon
Really?
cherry red, and it'd be the one I would get for sure. They've
Wow.
got the Legend 3.0 bag, and then they got the Lore 2.0 bag, which apparently the Squatch bags have a cooler. You told me earlier that you know this. I didn't know they have a cooler in them.
I believe every Squatch bag comes with a cooler because mine did. Like a
And
cooler
so you've had a
insert.
cooler with drinks in it all this time and have never given me any or offered me any?
Something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But if you do go to either website, use the code CHAINOUT at checkout. That supports us, just like Sonia did there. And she went so she was telling us about her cart. She went and pulled the trigger, hey?
Yeah, she bought the Arsenal Zuka cart. She tested it
Ooh.
out today. Apparently she loves it. And she used the code CHAINOUT at checkout. Yeah.
She's ready for combat in the next tournament
Okay,
with her arsenal.
I'm kind of ready, but I'm going to have to fix it on the fly because I can't fix it unless I push the button.
All right. Well,
So
make it happen, Captain. Tell a story.
the first giveaway that pops up is not going to be the one. I'm going to have to replace the video. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. So what are we doing? We're
There you go.
Oh my goodness, Daryl. I think you've just made someone the happiest person out there in disc golf with that spin.
There you go. Andrea Michaud, congratulations. This Innova Boss Queen City Classic stamped disc with all these Pro Tour FPO signatures is on its way to you. Well, not right now
That
because I'm holding
is
it.
so amazing. Fantastic. Congrats to her. And of course, that other preview that you saw of the spin, that was a previous giveaway that we did for the Cloud Breaker. So,
Yeah.
man, so many giveaways this year. I don't know if we've got another one queued up, but, before you know it, there'll be another one. But if you're waiting for
Are you
another
serious? You don't have something to give away? It's like you always have a
I'm
giveaway.
I've got so many things to give away, but I think that's all I've got at the moment.
Okay,
But
good.
rather
We get a
than
week
give
off.
away, just why not give us $20 and get one of these amazing hats that we're wearing?
Yeah.
Hey, Daryl?
Oh, wrong side. Not the white
Yeah.
one. That one is not for sale. That was special run that we had for nationals. But the gray one with the red CO or the darker gray with the white CO, just like Jeremy and I are sporting right here, we will have them for sale. If you see us, come stop us. Well, I have them in my vehicle. $20, like you mentioned. $17 if you're a Patreon subscriber.
Mhm.
Also, if you happen to be heading out to Smith Lake Farm Disc Golf Camp I will see you out there. If you want me to bring one with me, let me know. Let me know ahead of time, and I'll stick it in my suitcase, and you can avoid shipping.
Yeah, or if you're heading out to the Tournament Capital Open in Kamloops, I'll have them with me in the car. So $20 get you one, and be happy to have you sporting them and spreading the Chain Out logo out there. Everyone will go, what are you wearing on your head? Oh, just
Yeah,
one of my favorite podcasts out there.
exactly. It's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, as you guys know by now, please subscribe, please sign up on Instagram, Facebook, do all that stuff. Come over to Patreon, watch our Patreon episodes. We got a free link there for you to join us. We're gonna chat. We need an MPO pick for the Northwest Challenge. I'll tell you a little bit about Memphis, what's going on. We'll talk about our Chain Out Throwdown tournament and whatever else you want to talk about if you're still up for spending a little bit more time with us.
Yeah,
but
we're a little bit later today, but that's okay.
Yeah.
People want to hear it, Jeremy.
They want to do it now. Okay, so we've got the draft for them. Let's qualify here. We have the draft, but we found there's a problem. Don't think that we just do these off the cuff. We are in the studio. We are rehearsing. We are ridiculing each other on how poorly we're doing our rhymes.
Yes.
And normally we like to do it verse for verse, right, Daryl? But it's just this distance thing is not going to work.
All
It's
right,
not
what are we
gonna
doing?
work for that? I'm going to do.
You're going to do one?
We got 3 sets. I'll do set 1. You
I'll
do set 2. I'll do set 3.
And then we'll come in together at the end.
Okay. So everybody's ready. Okay.
Right.
See, this is how it happens. I think this is when DJ Khaled says another one. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Is everything we just said. But
Let's also just clarify the fact that you are in Memphis, so there's a bit of a delay, so it may not sync up properly. But we're gonna roll with it.
Let's do it.
Okay. Even added the graphic this week. We're up in the game. Take it away, Jay Powell.
The Dieppe Open, done and dusted. No rain fell, but the wind gusted. Atlantic Canada hoped to raise the cup, but Ontario arrived to show what's up.
I'm just going to let it get back on time.
Practice your throws and maybe your putts. Keep it fresh, don't get stuck in a rut. We're tangy and salty like sauerkraut. See you next week, but until then, chain out.
Thanks, everybody.
It ended perfectly.
It did. Maybe we need to put that one little gap in there each time.